let's talk about the price schedule for XRP throughout the rest of this year. The next 4 months 2025 has been insane. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. But I want to talk to you about some new updates that we got in here today and what to expect in the next 4 months for XRP, the price specifically. All I ask is if you do like talking about XRP, type in X in the comment section, click that like button, and let's get into it. A lot to put out in this video, and I do want to talk about some updates we just got in. But first, I want to talk to you about some of the narratives that some of the bigger YouTubers I've noticed here lately have been pushing. And that's that we're now at the top of the market. We're about to move in a multi-year bear market and things are about to turn bearish for years, right? I think it's a very not only unrealistic way of thinking, I think it's very risky and dangerous to put out to your audience, right? What you do with your hard-earned money, as I've said many times, is completely up to you. But I know that myself, I'm speaking for myself right now, I've still been DCAing in what I am expecting. I'm going to talk to you about it in this video, what I'm expecting to come in this year yet still. And, you know, if you are thinking that we're moving into a multi-year bear market and we're going to be in a bear market, a crazy crypto winter for the next 4 years, you're really betting against a few different things, but one of the biggest, the institutions. You're making a bet directly against the institutions. Here today, it came out that Sharp Link buys 56,000 ETH worth 252 million. This is an institution, and they're obviously not buying this ETH and thinking it's going to go a lot lower and they want to lose money. And so it really doesn't matter if we see a big whale buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP. What this tells us is that these institutions are still in a big way. They want to buy, and these insiders know something, right? And it's not even so much of needing to know something very deep, because we can look at the surface level of things and say, very obvious we're going to get an interest rate cut. Very obvious we have the Clarity Act that's going to get passed. And I'm not a huge fan of Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, but he said something very funny and realistic the other day. Maybe you heard, but he stated that we are about to move into a Giga Chad bull run because they're going to cut interest rates and we're going to get that Clarity Act passed. And so those that are thinking we're moving into this multi-year bear market, they're betting against the institutions. Not only that, they're really betting against the world in changing, and that the cryptocurrency landscape is going to not be utilized in a big way. We're not going to see integration. We're not going to see utilization of these cryptocurrencies. That blockchain is not going to take over the next 4 years, when all analysts, all statistics tell us otherwise. We're moving ahead, and we're moving ahead very, very quickly. Whether we look at the products, the ETFs, we know there's the filings that should get approved in October. And so it's very obvious what's happening, and dotting the I's and crossing the T's of legislation, bringing in law, as I stated last night, is what is going to bring these institutions in a big way. We've heard Citibank, we've heard JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, all these massive big banks and institutions stating, literally telling us this year, these CEOs, that they're ready to go all in. And so that's what I spend a lot of my time in doing and listening to, is what these institutions are actually doing. That's very important. And yesterday we had a big Bitcoin whale sell off. I believe it was 24,000. I did a video on it last night and did a big pullback. The market did a big pullback. And I know there were some asking, well, will this manipulation ever end? You know, yeah, we're going to see some law come to this market, but will that really truly end the manipulation completely? Well, the answer is no. It's never going to end completely. And we can take a look at the stock market to give us a direct indicator in the facts there, because the stock market is still heavily manipulated, but it's much more mature. And so you don't see the volatility as much. And why will you never 100% get rid of manipulation? Well, it is because the big money out there, the big billionaires, the institutions, even nations, they have the ability to move these markets around and shake the market and play off your fear and play off greed and play off your emotions. And that's exactly what some of these big YouTubers, mainstream YouTubers, are doing when they're putting out videos stating that we're going into a multi-year bear market, things are going to be bearish for the next few years. They're playing off your emotions. It's very hard, really, to put out bullish videos when the market's going down. Here today, we're seeing a little bit of a pullback on XRP, down about 1%. But I salute those YouTubers and influencers out there that are able to still have conviction in XRP in this cryptocurrency market because they're actually getting it. They're seeing the vision. They're knowing where this is all going. They're seeing what's happening around the world, and they're not letting all that noise cloud their judgment. And that's what we see a lot in this market is folks, especially the new retail, that very few are actually going to make it. Their judgment gets clouded by the emotional aspect of it. You know, we can take a look at technical analysis all day and what's happening on the chart and draw lines and stuff like that. But what is most important by far is the fundamentals. I spent years and years in the stock market before coming into the cryptocurrency market as a fundamental investor, and that's what brought me into cryptocurrencies like XRP that have strong fundamentals. But it's not just XRP right now, right? XRP has the ETFs and the products out there that we know are going to bring inflows. We're talking about billions. JP Morgan said 4 to 8 billion net inflows to the XRP ETFs, but we're also talking about the fundamentals of this overall market, which I believe is going to see a net influx of inflows come in masses. It's very easy to be bearish on days like this when, you know, we're on the fear and greed index sitting in a little less than neutral right now. But knowing what is coming is absolutely crucial, and that's what I want to focus on in this video. We just heard yesterday or last night, Trump shatters 111-year precedent, the Fed firing that changes everything. No president has ever fired a Federal Reserve governor. So things are getting crazy. And I just also saw that Gemini has passed JP Morgan Chase and apps. It's now a top 10 app in finance. It's past Coinbase, all of these big, massive companies in the App Store, because the XRP army has shown up for Gemini. And we see that it's just a massive community that we have that is strong, still strong, and knowing what we hold. And so again, this year, I would be shocked if we don't end this year in double digits. And now some are in the comments section probably already saying, well, you said XRP is going to 3 to 4 digits. It is, in my personal belief, 100%. But if we're looking solely at investment, and that's what I want to focus on right now, is investment from the ETFs, retail, and institutions coming in, that is going to bring XRP up into the double digits very quickly. And I would be shocked if by the end of this year, we don't hit double digits at least. Now, if we see integration, we see, you know, a global liquidity crisis, we see some of the other things we talk about on this channel, we could see things get absolutely crazy with XRP. A lot of people don't understand to this day the difference between a market cap of a cryptocurrency and a stock. And it's wildly different. And when we see the net inflows coming in, even millions, billions into the market cap of cryptocurrencies like XRP, you're going to see the multiplier effect take effect. And so I think things are going to get crazy this next 4 months. We've got to be patient. We've got to know what we hold, but it's legislation. It's the institutions coming in. Again, that law coming together and allowing these institutions to come in. But on top of that, an overall better, healthier market with the interest rate cut and just sentiment changing wildly as we see the institutions come in. Of course, that's going to bring retail back on the radar. Here lately, we've seen about 50% of searches on Google Analytics drop, a 50% drop from retail. And so what that tells us is they came in for a little bit, they're gone, but they'll be right back. And we're going to have a fun next 4 months, I do believe. Now, those are my thoughts, my opinions. Let me know yours in the comment section below. If you want to trade this market and you want to take advantage of the volatility, which we obviously have a lot right now, BitUnex and BTCC. These are the two exchanges that I use for trading and I recommend. BTCC has been around since 2011. These are trusted exchanges with licensing, no KYC and things like that. Great places to trade if you want to trade this market. That's all I got for you for now. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions in the comment section below, guys. As always, I appreciate your support. God bless, and we will see you all in the next one.